9 months straight in the truck, living in the truck, driving in the truck, sleeping and eating in the truck, never going home in the truck. When you drive truck, if you're a truck driver, you already know. You know anybody that drive trucks, they basically, they have home time. I didn't care about home time. I was like, yo, I'm about to get this money. And I could feel my spirit was like, yo, you need to rest. And something came over me one day, because I was whipping. I came home to visit my mother because of my grandfather turned 100 years old. That's a whole nother testimony I got to tell y'all. My grandfather's 101 right now. But I came home for a week for my grandfather's birthday. And not knowing that was the last time I was going to see my mother in normally, how she normally is. You know what I'm saying? And after that, something told me, you need to rest. And eventually the voice went like this. It wasn't nothing that I heard. I could just feel it. It was basically saying, yo, you're going to get out of trucking. You're going to rest and you're going to get out of trucking and you're not going to go back. And that's exactly what's happening even to this time. It's been over a year since that happened. My mother went in the hospital. She had a brain bleed. She went in the hospital and I had to come home. I haven't been in a truck since then. My mother passed away last year, last May. Now, that's a whole nother testimony. But this testimony right here that I want to talk about is something told me, go to church. I haven't been to church all that time. I drove and I found this church. I said, you know what? All of a sudden I could see churches and I'm like, something in my heart said, go to church. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to this church. Something told me, go to church. I can't even go there. I was going to go. I was just about to fork off, but I'm not going to talk about it because it's going to come now. So I parked the car. I go to this place where I parked. There was a store there, a storefront there, and there was a man there. So I asked him about the church that I saw. He said, and I told him, I said, I think God wants me to go to church. I really feel like I need to go to church. He said, well, I'm a pastor. You're talking to a pastor right now. And I'm going to tell you something. God must really be talking to you because guess what? You are standing in front of a church because right now I'm opening this lock. It didn't even look like a church. It just looked like a regular storefront. He said, this is a church right now. He said, you could choose which church you want to go to because right now you're right across the street. There's a church there and right next door, that's another church. I said, wow. He said, so God was probably talking to you because you're surrounded by churches. Another guy came up to assist this guy that was opening the door, the storefront door, which was the church. He was a pastor of that church, one of the pastors at the church. So I said, okay. I walked across the street to see the other church. There was a guy coming out of the big church, the one that was right next to the one that he first talked about. And I walk up to him and I asked him about the church. He said, well, I'm the pastor of this church. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I told him what was going on. And he said, well, the God is definitely talking to you. He said, listen, they're having Bible study in there right now. Go in there. So I go into church. It wasn't that many people in there. They were scattered around and I sit down. I'm listening to what they're saying. They have a microphone and they passing it around. So I'm seeing how the format is. And I'm like, you know what? Let me get involved, you know? And so I forgot what transpired as far as the conversation, but I raised my hand and I grabbed and they gave me the mic. So I'm telling them on the mic how I got to the church, how God was talking to me and how I got to the church. And I asked him a question. I said, how do you know that that's God's voice though? And sidebar right now, I just put up testimonies about it's 3 parts because I have a long form, but people don't watch the long form that much because I'm new to the platform. But I put it in 3 parts of when I was in jail and God spoke to me and how I heard his voice. But still, I understand how to listen to God's voice, but I wanted other people's take on it. And I wanted the pastor and the deacon's take on it. So I told him, I said, how do you know that it's God's voice? How do you know that that's what he wants you to do? And he said something that was very true to my experience. He said, when you feel like God is talking to you and you know that it's something right that you should be doing, then what you have to do is you have to trust that it's his voice. You just have to trust that it's his voice. And that makes so much sense. Because a lot of us, we think it's God, or we don't even know that it's God, and we don't even trust because we don't trust. You know what I mean? And so the confirmation of that is this. Very deep, very deep. I'm in the sitting down in Bible study, and then Bible study's over, then church starts. They go through the formats and everything of the church, the guys talking, and then they're singing and all of this, boom, boom. At the end, they talked about Mother's Day. And they said, today's Mother's Day. I didn't know it was Mother's Day. I didn't know it was Mother's Day. They said it's Mother's Day. And we are going to pass roses to all the mothers. I was just about to break down. Something came over me. I was like, I'm not crying in here, but what's crazy about it is I know that God told me to go to church that day. I know that he did because it was confirmed about the fact that it was Mother's Day. I did not know that it was Mother's Day. My mother went in the hospital Mother's Day weekend, and we buried her Memorial Day week. My mother went to the hospital Mother's Day weekend. She died later that week, and we buried her. I know we buried her Memorial Day weekend. Week. That's a whole nother testimony in itself. But that was clear confirmation of the voice of God and how to listen to the voice of God and the fact that you have to trust. And then he confirms to you that, yes, I was talking to you. Because I haven't been to church in I don't know how long. And God prompts me, and I'm there on Mother's Day to honor and help me to grieve and honor my late mother. I'm here to tell y'all this life is serious business. Walk with the Most High is the only route. You think that we're just here and instead, this life is serious business. This is serious. We have a choice to make. It's not just make money and die. There's a lot behind this. And the only way you're going to figure it out is God. You could believe, you could not believe. If you don't want to believe, that's on you. But to be here right now in this, to come out of nowhere from forever, all of a sudden to be born in this world, it's a very serious thing. I'll talk to y'all at a later time. Shalom. Thanks for listening.